Welcome to Toffee TV. This is the Everton News Daily. Everton have been dealt a blow in their chances of signing Kurt Zouma permanently next season. Chelsea, who of course got a transfer ban by FIFA, they tried to appeal it and have appealed it, but they have been told that during the appeal they will not be allowed to sign players. Now obviously normally when an appeal happens it basically means that everything stays the same, and that allows teams to go out and buy players. We've seen this, I think, with Barcelona. We've seen this with Real Madrid. Chelsea expected the same, but have been told no. And obviously, if that stays the same, there would be very little chance that Chelsea would be selling Kurt Zouma in the summer with not being able to bring anyone in. I think Gary Cahill's out of contract as well in the summer, so that's a player they would be losing. The only chance really Everton have got is if Chelsea maybe go and take this further and take this to court, which they possibly will do, I imagine. The power they have and the power they imagine they can force on a court. So we'll have to wait and see. Kurt Zouma, obviously, he's done all right this season. Probably about a 7 out of 10 player for most of the season. He's done well, played really well in the Merseyside derby the other day, and Marco Silva's already mentioned that he's a player he'd like to keep at the club. So it's probably in the hands of the lawyers now, which is strange if Everton want to keep him. But we'll have to wait and see. I'm sure Everton have got alternative players in the pipeline they'd like to sign. Obviously, we've got the likes of Mason Holgate at the club as well, to take that spot. Mina, who we've hardly seen this season as well, would maybe be first choice next season with a season of Premiership football under his belt, injury free, pre-season as well. Everton will have to. I'll have to wait till he can make those plans, or certainly finalise those plans, and we'll wait and see. Joe Waldron, the academy director, has been speaking today. He spoke about Marcel Brands and his role in the academy system. He said they speak every day on players and on the pathway. He said Brands has been involved since day one with working with the academy, and that's massively helpful because of all his experience, because all the work he did at PSV to get their academy so that they were churning out first team players at the age of 17, 18, 19. Obviously those players go on and be sold when they get to 23, 24. All that money gets pumped back into PSV. Now I'm sure Everton are looking at a lot more of a long-term strategy to get these players in the first team to aid them to get up the table. But certainly that's what is a big remit of Marcel Brands' role at Everton Football Club. And we've seen how well the under-23s are doing this season. We've seen how well the under-18s are doing as well. So obviously it's Marcel Brands' job to turn those under-18 players into first-team players, and anyone who goes into the under-23s. Because what we probably will see this season is a few of those 23 players probably leave the club. Players that are doing really well, the likes of Bassa Sambu, will probably leave the club at the end of the season. It's up to Marcel Brands and the rest of the academy to turn those players into first-team players, or certainly competing to be in the first team, or certainly not letting them go out, for nothing at the end of their contracts. These players need to be at least being getting sold at a price. That means the money you put into them, you're getting that back at least. So, interesting conversation with, I think that's on the Echo website if you want to go and read more of that interview. Marco Silva has spoken about Morgan Schneiderlin. He said it shows to everyone that if you work hard and believe in yourself, you can get back in the team. He said that when he was going into the Cardiff game, he had a plan, and Morgan Schneiderlin fitted into that plan like other players will. He said, other players like Andre Gomez or Tom Davis didn't necessarily do anything wrong. It's just that Morgan Schneiderlin fitted into the plans for that night and has, played well in the Merseyside derby as well. So he looks at every game and has a strategy for every game and how players fit in. He said, but it's given him a selection headache ahead of the game against Newcastle. So he's saying it doesn't matter how long you're out for if you're not in the team. If you've got the right attitude and you're working hard, then you'll always have a chance to get into his side, which is which is great. It's what you want to hear, and I suppose it's what players want to hear as well. Players who are on the sidelines at the moment, maybe feeling sorry for themselves that they're not in the team. If they roll up the sleeves, work hard, there's always a chance that they're never truly out of the picture if they're in that squad. Obviously, we've seen players leave the squad and were told at the beginning of the season that they didn't have a future. Well, the manager said, you know, if you're in that core group of first teamers, you will always have a chance to play. He also spoke about Theo Walcott and said that, you know, he knows he hasn't been at his top level the last couple of games, but he said you can say that about all of our wingers. You can say that about Bernard at times, with Charlison, Ademola Lookman. He said he knows that with Theo Walcott at his best, at his 100%, he can be a game changer. Some of our fans might disagree with that, but what he is saying is that you've got to have consistency across the board. Not everyone has played well, and I suppose that's an aspect of being a winger. You're not in the game all the time, and you're not brilliant every single game. But you know, I think we can all hand on our heart say Theo Walcott hasn't been at his best this season. It's been a difficult season for him. Whether that's got anything to do with the fact that he didn't really have much of a pre-season, really did miss most of the pre-season, and then came back on the first game of the season. That could be a big part of it. But he's not been at his best at all this season. But the manager obviously showing that he's a player he likes, and that everyone's had those problems this season. He also mentioned the change to Z cars last week. He said he liked it and he knows fans like it, and obviously if it helps generate a good atmosphere, then he's behind it as well. So that's good news. Finally, Spurs' stadium. Obviously, this has rumbled on all season, but there's going to be a couple of test events held in the next couple of weeks ahead of their next game in the Champions League, and I think a Premier League game against Brighton as well. Obviously, Everton play Spurs last game of the season, so it looks like Everton will be facing Spurs last game of the season at their new stadium at White Hart Lane. I think tickets will be like gold dust for that game anyway, but it looks like it will not be played at Wembley. It looks like it'll be played at the new White Hart Lane. A lot of rumours apparently that's going to be called the Nike Stadium. So it could be getting held at a potential new Nike Stadium. I know a lot of fans want to go there, want to see what it's like, so they can report back and say this is what we want for our new stadium. Certainly with that steep bank that they're going to have at one end. And also I believe there's safe rail seating is going to go in as well. Obviously won't be used as for standing, but it'll be used as seating. So a lot of Evertonians will be quite interested in that. If it does go ahead and we do play them last game of the season. There you go. This has been the Everton News Daily. Don't forget to make sure to check out all our after-match stuff tomorrow. Hopefully positive after-match coverage after the game away to Newcastle. I'll see you later.